What have we got to work on this afternoon?
So this afternoon we're going to make a coriander crusted halibut
Ooh.
with an avocado and sweet corn relish, if you will. We could call it a slaw, a relish, whatever kind of word you like to attach to it. We're also going to make a really simple baby arugula salad here.
Ooh.
And we'll talk more about this as we get into it, but we're not going to make a dressing for the salad. We're going to dress those greens, okay? We're not going to buy the commercial brand dressing and douse it with that. We're also not even gonna make our own vinaigrette. It's gonna be simpler than that. So we're gonna, again, kind of start on our left here, and we're just gonna move right. This is a tip you might take home and use in your own kitchen as well. Kind of orchestrating everything, all of our mise en place again, as we go. And also not just having a pile of it all over the place, so I have to hunt and gather, kind of lay it out right exactly. So you can just move left to right or front to back, and it makes cooking much more easy. And
so this is all laid out in the order that we're going to be using
it
them.
is.
Oh, wonderful.
Right?
Takes
Takes one more thing out of the equation for us to think about. Yeah, cool. All right, so we're gonna start over here, and the first thing that we wanna do, of course, is get our pan warm. So we're gonna turn this on, about a medium to medium-low heat. I've got about an ounce of olive oil in there already. So we're gonna take our lovely halibut here, but we took the skin off, and I just cut it into nice even fillets. Again, we want to keep them as even as possible so that they cook at the same or similar rate. And you can see, you usually do about, a 2 or 3 finger is kind of a common industry measurement, if you will, as you're processing your fish, so that you can just kind of lay it like that and cut them the same or similar. Okay, perfect. So now we're gonna go ahead, and the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna season these guys and flavor them, right? So when we're doing this, we're just doing 3 pieces here today for our purposes, but if you're doing a whole bunch, it's gonna be extra important to how you use your hands. So I wanna have one wet hand and I wanna have a dry hand as I'm processing these, or as I'm seasoning and flavoring these, okay? So my left hand is gonna be my wet hand, and that's the hand that I'm gonna use to kind of flip the fish or move the fish around. And the reason for that, of course, is I don't wanna have both of my hands working with the fish, then in my salt and in my, right? We don't wanna avoid that. So this is gonna be my dry hand or my clean hand, essentially, okay? It's not gonna touch the fish. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put our coriander on here. And we want to season from relatively high like this. You see how I'm
noticing that.
A foot or better, 1.5 feet above the product. Now, if I'm down really close like this, it's going to fall in little clumps and not be evenly distributed. Okay?
That's why I've always gotten little clumps.
Exactly. So get up a little bit higher like this, and your life will be so much easier. Okay, then we're going to hit it with our salt.
Also high.
Our salt, also nice and high. Yep. Now I'm going to use my wet hand, and I'm just going to flip these guys. Now, I'm seasoning both sides of my food.
Got it.
So there is that.
Beautiful.
All right. Now, again, we did this first so that we can set this aside. We're going to put this back in our refrigerator. So we're just going to kind of move to our right now, right? And what we've got here is our lime juice and our lime zest. I'll put together again, that juice is going to help pull out the flavor out of that zest and help that become more dispersed into our little relish here.
And that's our acid in our dish, correct?
This is the acid in our dish, absolutely. The next piece here, we've got our garlic, which has just been chopped up. Okay, now this I'm also going to add to that acid at this point. That acid is going to do the same thing it's doing to its zest to the garlic.
So it's going to bring out flavor.
It's going to bring the flavor out of that garlic. Okay?
Wonderful.
So it's not locked into those little pieces of garlic. It's more in the liquid and more easily dispersed into our dish. Next here we've got our shallot, which also is just kind of minced nice and small. The next piece here, we've got a serrano chili. I really love serranos. I like them way more than jalapenos, even though jalapenos are very, very popular. Serrano is going to give you a more consistent heat. So there's our serrano. The next one we've got here is our corn, and this is beautiful sweet corn that we've got, right?
Oh,
the nice
it looks so young and tender, yeah.
I know. So what we did was we poached it in some seasoned water for, I would say, 3 to 5 minutes. Just enough to get it, softening up again, and actually to cook the starch too. So here we've got our lovely avocado. So a little safety tip for you, use just a nice dull butter knife, and we're gonna go right like this into strips. And we're gonna go this way, and we just scoop this guy out of here. And we have
look at that, it's perfect.
Diced avocado right out of the shell. The next one we've got here is our cilantro. And there we have our cilantro. All right, so we're just going to talk through real quickly the last remaining ingredients, and they're going to come together for our salad. And what we're going to do is we're going to toast our pine nuts. And while we're doing this, we'll just talk real quickly through the rest of our ingredients. So we've got a little bit of honey here. We're going to do some nice extra virgin olive oil. And for this one, we're going to do a nice white wine or champagne vinegar. We're going to keep it on the light side.
Okay.
All right.
So now we're entering my fear zone, cooking the fish.
All of our mise en place is ready to rock, right? And now it's time to actually cook some food.
Yeah.
Okay, just like that. And we want to, once we get one in there, we want to kind of, you know, keep moving and get them all in there.
So they're all cooking together.
So that they cook at that same rate. Yep. So while this is working, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put together our sweet corn and avocado slaw. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to put my corn in here. The order in which you add these next few ingredients doesn't matter too terribly much. I want to add the corn at this point just so that we can kind of facilitate that to fall apart a little bit, you know. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our chilies. We're going to add our shallots. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our tomatoes. Same thing with our avocado here, right? So that's going to go in. Oh my goodness. And then our juice, our zest, and our garlic. Then we're going to just essentially toss this together.
Okay.
We're going to take a quick peek now at our fish here. You can kind of see the fish is turning around the edges, turning white as opposed to its translucence there, right? That is telling you that we're approaching doneness. When a fish turns from translucent to that white, that's what we're looking for. There we go. Nice.
Look at that.
All right, so now we flip, we're ready to go. We're gonna finish this guy in an oven
Okay.
at about 325 degrees, and that's gonna just nice and gently raise that internal temperature. So we've got our greens here, our honey, olive oil, and our vinegar. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it like this and see how it just falls gently?
In a tiny, thin, thread-like
super tiny
stream.
Yep,
That's
absolutely.
beautiful.
And that's what we're looking for. All right, a little bit of oil. Now a standard ratio for a vinaigrette is 3 to 1 if you're gonna make a vinaigrette out of this. 3 parts oil to 1 part vinegar. So you can kind of think about that too as you're building this in the bowl. So you want to do 3 times the amount of oil that you did vinegar.
Okay.
Okay.
And I saw how much oil you were putting in
and we
there.
can always adjust that as we go too. That's the beautiful part about doing it this way. I'm gonna go like that. I'm gonna give it a little salt. Okay, and we're gonna toss it. So we're gonna just finish this guy off with our cilantro
Oh, yeah.
and our cumin.
Ooh.
And then this
Even
guy.
more color.
Yep, absolutely.
Look at that.
The nice bright green plays off the red from the tomato. All right, let's take a peek now at our fish. Look at that. Oh, can you smell it?
Those are a thing of beauty.
Beautiful. All right, so you remember how I said about how it starts to fall apart a little bit when it approaches doneness,
Yes.
right? We can just kind of open it up slightly and peek in there.
No pink whatsoever.
No pink, and it all is just really flaky and comes right apart. Okay, so that's all set to go. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna plate now. And we're gonna start with our greens. So we're gonna take this perfect, beautiful little fillet here, and we're gonna lay it kind of crosswise right on top of that. And then we're gonna take this stuff, take it, and we're just gonna kind of lay some right on top here.
It's beautiful.
And then we've got our pine nuts here, and the pine nuts are just gonna get a little sprinkle right over the top.
Oh, who wouldn't want to eat that?